One band who didn't seem to get much love from critics were the Monkees. Whenever their name comes to my mind, I always picture that one scene from The Simpsons where Marge has a fear of flying, and they go back to her childhood and this scene plays.
You like the Monkees? They don't even play their own instruments. No! No!
I don't know what's sadder, the fact that that episode deals with Marge's fear of air travel, or the fact that The Simpsons used to be funny. Anyways, getting back to the story, 1967 saw one of the strangest musical pairings in history. Teeny boppers the Monkees, who were huge at the time, would tour America with Jimi Hendrix as their opener, or at least that was the plan. Exactly whose idea was to pair the musicians together isn't really clear. Some sources claim it was Hendrix's manager Mike Jeffries, while others claim it was the Monkees themselves. But either way, it would be an ill-fated tour that unraveled after only several dates. Stay tuned for the full story. By 1967, Jimi Hendrix was a rising star in the UK, but virtually unknown stateside. The Monkees had massive crowds, and it was a perfect opportunity to get the guitarist and singer in front of a lot of people in the United States. Hendrix himself wasn't a big fan of the idea slamming the Monkees prior to the tour, during an interview with Melody Maker saying, "Oh God, I hate them, dishwater. You can't knock anybody for making it, but people like the Monkees," he'd ask. The Monkees, meanwhile, were big fans of Hendrix. Monkey Mike Nesmith first heard of Hendrix while he was at a dinner party with John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and Eric Clapton. Soon afterwards, Monkee member Mickey Dolenz saw Hendrix perform in New York, telling Forbes magazine, "I first saw Hendrix when he was still Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. I was in New York and somebody said I had to come down from Greenwich Village to see this guy play the guitar with his teeth." Soon afterwards, Dolenz and his bandmates saw the guitar virtuoso perform at the 1967 Monterey Pop Festival and instantly became fans. Dolenz would reveal in his autobiography, "I'm a Believer," "You can't imagine what it must have been like for an act like Jimi Hendrix opening for the Monkees. It was evident from the start that we were witness to a rare and phenomenal talent. I would stand in the wings and watch and listen in awe," he'd remember. Hendrix would open his first show of the tour in Jacksonville, Florida, to a less than enthusiastic crowd. Dolenz would recall in his book how fans reacted to Hendrix, revealing, "The parents were probably not too crazy about having to sit through a Monkees concert, much less see a black guy in a psychedelic blouse playing music from hell, holding his guitar like he was effing it, then lighting it on fire." Jimmy would amble out onto stage, fire up the amps, and break into Purple Haze, and the kids in the audience would instantly drown him out with "We Want Davey." God, it was embarrassing. Hendrix was supposed to play a total of 29 shows with the Monkees, but bowed out of the tour after only 8 dates. While the Monkees and Hendrix got along on tour, it was the crowds who weren't so enthusiastic about Hendrix's performances. The final show would take place on July 17, 1967, and some stories have suggested that the musician had ended his set by saluting the crowd with his middle finger and smashing his guitar. There was also some rumors circulating around this time that he may have been kicked off the tour after a group called the Daughters of the American Revolution claimed that his show was, and I quote, "too erotic." Dolenz was sad to see Hendrix leave the tour, revealing in his book, "I was sorry to see him go. We did have some great times running around the New York City psychedelic scene like kids in a candy store, tripping at the Electric Circus, and jamming until all hours of the night in our hotel room." And shortly after Hendrix left the tour, both of his records, including Purple Haze and Are You Experienced, started to get the attention they deserved in America, finally climbing up the charts. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again tomorrow on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.